This is a letter by Master, and it is titled To Students and Friends, New Year's 1937 by Paramahansa Yogananda. The new year has come to greet you with new hopes, new determination, new will to achieve new activities. In the temple of the new year, renew your reverence for the unlimited hidden power of God within you. The trial of trials and the yawning chasms of woe have been left behind in the dark night of the past. Now you are entering the daylight of a newborn hope of the new year. Cast off the coil of the decayed thoughts of the past years. Be reincarnated into the vital living of the new year. Every regret for shattered hopes of success must be transformed into the joy of new achievements during the new year. Old sorrows and disappointments must be buried beneath the sepulchre of the past year. Those dark bandits of discouragement must not remain any longer to steal the wealth of your desire to succeed. Every day in the new year must become an altar for the God of new living, new achievements in wisdom and new joy. Every day in the new year must bring hope and cheer to yourself and all humanity. Take all the salvaged treasures of good experiences from the sea of past experience and use them to buy new accomplishments in the new year. In the garden of the new year, culture the seeds of well-planned new activities until they grow into fragrant flowering plants of diverse successes. Let every day in the new year become a step upward in the ladder of self-realization. Make every day of the new year a better day than the previous one, for greater effort to succeed in business, family happiness, and increasing the ever new joy contact of God in meditation. The old year has gone, but the new year is full of treasures for you to use. Bury the bad habit of failure in the tomb of the old year and reincarnate your life energy in the vitality of the new year. May the new year spread the example and message of your renewed life and renewed power unto all creation.
It's wonderful to have Master's words encouraging us, and whatever thoughts we have regarding the conclusion of this year, the beginning of next year, and so on, let those thoughts be encouraging. When you hear encouragement, when you hear or feel comfort, when you feel a presence, say, of Master that gives you that courage to go on, then you can be sure it's from him or from somebody good and higher and loving. If you hear the other voice that says, you might as well just quit now, that's not Master's voice. That's not coming from, it's not even speaking the truth. Because how do we know? Because, even God has us reincarnate again and again and again until we get it right. So he's giving us, as many chances as we need. So any thought that comes that says, forget it, you're lost, is not the truth. It's not coming from God. So always try to, no matter what has happened, stand up, dust yourself off, and keep going. Swamiji said that a brother disciple of his had a vision of Master standing in a light, and that all the disciples were running towards him, and that different ones, as they ran, they would fall, and then they would get up and start to run again. And Swamiji asked him, did everybody fall? And he said, oh, sure. And Swamiji thought, well, that's nice. He said, not so much that you want others to fall, but as long as you're falling, it's nice to know that you have company. But he said some people would get up and sort of, start to walk slowly. Others would get up and just kind of stand and look around. Others would get up and run right away. And so Swamiji thought, look, if we're going to end up running towards God, why not just run right away? And that's what you see over the years on the spiritual path. And I know many of you have seen that it's never, spiritual growth is not about not falling, not slipping, not making mistakes. If we never make mistakes, if we never fall, it means we're never challenging ourselves. We're never growing. We're never coming up against anything that we haven't seen before. Just imagine your professional certification course asking you, E. And then you say, ooh, congratulations, you're certified. I mean, it's not much of a stretch. That's even pre-LKG. That's LLKG. So, I mean, what accomplishment is that? Plus, as Master was saying in the letter, if we've had a terrible time in a particular year, being in this new temple, we're still sort of enjoying it. So, it's sort of like, well, whatever happened, at least we're here and we have this new temple, and it has that freshness and sort of constant proof of God's blessing. So that's nice. But still, if we've had a terrible year, what have we gained? First, in strength, understanding, as Prasanna was reading, and also in terms of just survival. Sometimes survival is success. I didn't think I could get through that, and I did. And then we have something. We have a certain sort of proof that of being warriors, because we have made it through a battle. And not everybody does. Some people get discouraged and stay discouraged. And you see them, even at the end of life, they're sort of shut down and hung up on that thing and I say this with compassion, but it's that, look, what lesson does God have for me? And most of all, the lesson is just to love Him more. And just as Swamiji prayed, I prayed that in this new year I would have a greater awareness of God's love. If you feel to, I was thinking maybe we should think of something like that for this year, this coming year, that let this be a year of deepening our love for God, a year of loving God more. Sometimes we've said in the past let's make this the year of Kriya, to do more Kriya, more deeply, and to get Kriya if we don't have Kriya and want it. And that's good. But somehow I was thinking for this year, let's take our guidance from Swamiji and Master, that let me love God more. So how can I do that? Well, we can talk about that in the coming days. We have a satsang coming up on Sunday, January 5th, Master's birthday. So that's exciting, because that only happens once in a while, that Master's birthday is on a Sunday. So it's nice to be able to celebrate on the day. So maybe we'll talk a little bit more about that. But it's, you could say, talking about loving God, that's all we ever talk about. I mean, someone was saying, how do I get free? Can you please tell me how to find freedom in God? It's like, that's the subject every week, every day, every meditation. That's what we're in the business of, all of us. We are professional God seekers. And so, I mean, there's a nuance here or there, but that's the job. That's the only job. That's how you get out of the cycles of reincarnation. And remember, you don't get out by clearing out all your karma. You get out by clearing out the ego which generates the karma. In other words, as Master was saying, we get over our wish to still be here in and of itself, as opposed to be with God. We can't say, I don't want to be here, and go check out. That doesn't work. We have to want God. It has to be a positive graduation. You can't drop out of school and call it a success. You say, I quit after the first year and they gave me the diploma. No, we have to graduate. Then you are free. And so let us graduate. But graduate in this case just means, Master, how about I just come be with you? So what can we do more and more, outwardly and inwardly, to love God, or to love God through Master? To offer our love in meditation, to share our thoughts and feelings with Him, just in purification, as I was saying. What's on your mind? Share that with Him. If you're trying to meditate and your mind is stuck on something, instead of saying, oh gosh, my mind keeps coming back to this, share that with Him. Sometimes Swamiji would look at us and we kind of, and he would say, what's wrong? Just very simply. He wouldn't say, Looks like somebody needs to go back to the meditation room. Or I say, well, get these sour faces out of here. He said, what's wrong? I remember once, very often I would write to Swamiji about different things. Very often he would not reply. And I tried not to read too much into that, but it was very often we could, after a while, feel an inward reply. But still, it's nice to get the outward reply too. And but there were a few times when I was going through a particularly difficult time, and Swamiji would write to me. I remember once I was feeling particularly discouraged. First I was sick, then something else happened, and I was just kind of just taken over by a dark thought, dark times. It can happen especially when you're sick, Swamiji said, because your magnetism is less. The protection around you is kind of less, and dark things, which are always trying to get in, can get in. Whether it's from our own subconscious or whatever, it can come. Because, Maya, has a quota, and she doesn't like when she loses people and God. So she's always trying. And don't be surprised if some negativity pulls you down. That's Maya showing off her stuff. Showing why she's in charge of her particular department. So don't be surprised. As Swamiji said, when something particularly negative would happen, he would say, these things happen. Why get excited about it? Don't be too caught up in the drama. As Master said, all these chapters, how this hero's being mistreated. Who's the hero? We are. We say, oh, see how I'm being mistreated. Swamiji said, just don't care about that kind of thing. Because that's what true freedom is. So that these things happen and we don't even care. What does it matter? Anyway, I was feeling discouraged. And Swamiji wrote me a letter, an email, just saying, how are you? And I hope you're doing well. And I've heard all these glowing reports about how wonderfully everything is going. I don't know where he heard the reports from, certainly not from me. And he said, it just sounds like everything's going so well. And you certainly have nothing to be discouraged about. And I just kind of, it's like Swamiji's song. It says, I forget the words that come before it in the song, Come Gather Round, but he says, lift up your head, greet the rising sun. And that's what he did. He just kind of lifted up my head, and I sort of, oh yeah. And so Master and Swamiji are trying to do that for us every day. Every day. You can say, well, I don't feel discouraged every day. I feel particularly good, but we can feel even greater. And we saw that with Swamiji too. We were having a good day. We saw him. The energy just shot up the spine. And we can have a thought of God. The energy can rise. We can have a thought of Master. The heart can open. And sometimes God will reveal himself in different ways. The more we meditate, the more we tend to receive these things because we put ourselves in tune with them. And if we don't meditate, then meditate. In other words, if we miss our meditation, then have it now. You can always start your meditation counter from now, and then go on. Even just if you have kriya, just a few kriyas, just to jumpstart things and get them going. It's amazing how it can lift the consciousness and open the heart. So again, if you feel a resonance with this to love God more in this year, then take that on if it feels right. Otherwise, you can of course come up with your own resolution or your own thoughts around that too. I just offer it as a thought. So we'll meditate now for a few minutes, and then at midnight, Prem will sound the gong.